What do you think about the Traditionalist Workers' Party, Christian?
What about them?
What do you think about them?
I don't even know who it is.
You don't know who the Traditionalist Workers' Party is?
No.
You don't?
No.
You have no idea?
No.
Okay, tell me about Matt Heimbach.
Who's that?
You have no idea who Matt Heimbach is? No idea.
Refresh my memory.
Okay.
This is Christian Seus, speaking earlier this year in June of 2025. Christian runs a right-wing Facebook page called Backroom Knox. He does, in fact, know who the TWP is, having shared many things about them on his page. In fact, he had a video of his about UT students protesting the Traditionalist Workers' Party shared on Fox News, and he knows who Matt Heimbach is. He has posted about him many times, and at one point calling him one of the most controversial figures in the nation right now. If you want the short version of all of this, Christian has used his Facebook page, Backroom Knox, to target and dox people he doesn't agree with. I'm not going to share screenshots of that because I don't want to further expose people who didn't deserve that exposure in the first place. But you can go look on his page yourself. Using Backroom Knox, Christian has interviewed Nazis. He has live streamed Nazi events. He has published Nazi events on his page. And he's made multiple posts against people protesting these Nazis. More recently, he's made claims of violence at protests, even when there is none, even when contradicted by the Knoxville Police Department. And he's blamed liberal organizations and Democrats for violence, even when there is no evidence and evidence to the contrary. That's the short version. In the rest of the video, I will go a little bit more in depth. Christian goes by various names. He is reluctant to have his name associated with Backroom Knox, but he definitely runs the page. He has in the past claimed it is minority-owned, even though I've never seen anyone but Christian at events and recording videos. Matt Heimbach was the leader of the Traditionalist Workers' Party, a neo-Nazi organization that fell apart somewhat hilariously during an incident known as the Night of the Wrong Wives, which you can look up for yourself. It's funny. The Traditionalist Workers' Party was a neo-Nazi organization, which was modeled after the German Nazi Party. Like the Nazis, they called themselves National Socialists. During a few months from 2017 to 2018, they organized multiple events here in Knoxville. This is a photo of Christian interviewing Matt Heimbach back in 2018 during the Women's March in Knoxville. This is Christian wearing that orange hat. So, a little bit of history. Back in 2017, there was a movement to take down various monuments to the Confederacy. These monuments honored former slave owners, and most have been put up during the 20th century as part of a revisionist history campaign by Southern racists. Various groups tried to stop the destruction of these monuments. They claimed that this was about saving Southern heritage and not about racism. This culminated in August of 2017 with something called Unite the Right. The Traditionalist Workers' Party had formed a group called the Aryan Nationalist Alliance, later changed to the Nationalist Front, which was a coalition of neo-Nazis and white supremacists. The Traditionalist Workers' Party, among those other groups in the Nationalist Front, attended the Unite the Right rally. Any pretense that this was about saving Southern heritage was set aside that night when the assembled groups marched by torchlight, chanting things like, "Jews will not replace us," and the Nazi slogan, "Blood and Soil." The rally ended when a neo-Nazi drove his car through a crowd of counter-protesters, killing one, Heather Heyer, and injuring 35 others. In response to the Charlottesville murder, Christian posted a video response from Jason Kessler, one of the white supremacist organizers of the Unite the Right rally, which tried to blame the city of Charlottesville, the police, Antifa, anybody but the actual Nazis for the murders. He then posted this about a rally that was called the following day in Knoxville in response to the Charlottesville murder. He linked to that video of Jason Kessler in this post, calling it the other side of the story. And he called the flyer race baiting and bullshit. A few weeks later, a user named Confederate28 posted to Stormfront, a white nationalist website, about a rally to defend a Confederate monument in Knoxville. On the same day, Christian posted that event to Backroom Knox. A few days later, he posted about Confederate 28 dropping out of the rally. Once the news got out that this rally had originated on Stormfront, Confederate 28 wrote a long letter about how posting on Stormfront was just an elaborate psyop to expose Antifa. As far as I'm aware, Backroom Knox was the only media to post the letter. He also claimed to be unaffiliated with Confederate 28, and he accused the Knoxville News Sentinel of trying to start a race conflict. Confederate 28 was made up of people, including Tom Pierce and Craig Spaulding locally, who both showed up to the rally. They showed up along with a couple dozen other white supremacists, and there were about 3,000 to 4,000 counter-protesters that day. Later on, the Traditionalist Workers' Party spent some time tagging the rock on UT campus. In December, Christian decided to publish their side of the story. This was well before the January 20th interview with Matt Heimbach, but the same people behind Confederate 28, Tom Pierce and Craig Spaulding, were deeply involved with the Traditionalist Workers' Party. And Christian gave them 20 questions that they could answer about their views that he would later publish. Then, on January 10th, Christian published a post about the Traditionalist Workers' Party's planned counter-protest of the Women's March. I want to point out that Christian refers to them here as National Socialists. And remember, National Socialism is literally Nazism, as it is in the name of the German Nazi Party. Christian did not include that fact in his description of what National Socialism is. Note that he also made a comment attacking the Women's March. I'm not sure who made this logo, but the logo and Christian's post both have the date wrong. On January 16th, Christian published that interview from December about the rock, along with a photo of Matt Heimbach, and he again mentioned the protest coming up on January 20th, so he got the date right this time, and blaming Antifa for the death of Heather Heyer in Charlottesville. On January 20th, there was maybe a dozen fine specimens of Aryan superiority who showed up. Christian interviewed Heimbach. He shared the interview on Backroom Knoxville. And he asks, "Is this the best group to be speaking for white folk? I don't know, but they are the ones speaking out. Who else will speak up? Is it possible to even create a white-styled group on campus without being called racists or Nazis?" Again, I just have to reiterate that National Socialists are literally Nazis. On February 1st, Confederate 28 posted on Stormfront that Heimbach would be giving a talk at UT. They posted this at around 8:10 p.m. Just slightly over an hour later, Christian posted the event on his own page. But he not only had time to post the event, but he also edited the graphic to include Backroom Knox supports free speech, along with an image of Beverly Davenport, who was the UT chancellor, and his post that criticized Beverly Davenport. Remember that Christian claimed to have no affiliation with Confederate 28. It's worth noting that Confederate 28 is quoted here in this USA Today article, saying, "The University of Tennessee has been declaring the term white pride as hate speech." And here in this post, Christian echoes that statement, saying, "UT's Davenport feels having pride in my white skin is hate speech." On that day, the Traditionalist Workers' Party dressed like stormtroopers, and they marched into UT, singing the Horstwessel-Lied, which is a Nazi anthem. Christian sat inside and live-streamed the entire event from his page. Then afterwards, he came outside and took video of the counter-protesters. In his post, he says, "These students should be ashamed." That video was aired on Fox News. Matt Heimbach got arrested a few weeks later. Christian posted about that, and he threw in a comment about how there was no violence from the Traditionalist Workers' Party at this event at UT. Later on, he posted about the Traditionalist Workers' Party website being down, and he posted some commentary written by a Traditionalist Workers' Party ally, which states that the only reason that this is news is that Matt Heimbach is a white leader, also noting that he's innocent until proven guilty. Now, that was all 8 years ago. This is a post from this year. Now, for one thing, that 30-day number is a wild mischaracterization. It includes people who make bomb threats, death threats, commit harassment and stalking crimes, slander, and so on. But Tommy Robinson is literally a British fascist. He is the former member of an outright fascist party and a criminal who once attempted to, no joke, illegally migrate to the U.S. Christian also regularly insinuates that, quote, the left is somehow promoting or causing violence. Vance Belter shot 4 Democratic politicians in Minnesota. He was a Republican with a hit list of 70 or more Democrats. But here, Christian is posting that he was once appointed to a state board by a Democratic official, and he claims that the motive is that the victim refused to funnel more money to illegal immigrants. It's highly unlikely that No Kings posters caused Vance Belter to murder these Democratic politicians, or that he was committing violence on behalf of undocumented immigrants, given that he was a deeply conservative person who voted Republican and had attended Trump rallies. Here's Christian attempting to try and show that the Knoxville Democrats are somehow inciting something. Before the big No Kings protest in June, Christian thought it was appropriate to post this gif of a toddler running over another kid in a toy car. As someone who remembers Charlottesville, this is deeply offensive, and it looks like a veiled threat. Christian writes, "Don't end up as hood ornament art. Y'all play nice and dodge the bumpers." And then there's this. Christian posted a video of a supposed assault on a motorcyclist who rode through the protest with a Trump flag and a pistol. This is a supposed assault by a protester on the motorcyclist. If you watch the video, there's no evidence that there was an assault, and the supposed assailant is actually smiling. But Christian says the young Trump supporter had every right to pistol whip this clown, maybe justified in using force, including deadly force. But what I find most interesting about this is that Christian walked out to the median of Western Avenue right before these motorcyclists arrived. He had not been out there all day, and very few people were standing there during the day. There was no one else out there at the time that Christian walked over there and stood, conveniently, just in time to catch these Trumpers riding through with their Trump flags, packing a pistol. Christian was also conveniently on the other side of the street when the group came back through, and he caught this supposed assault, which doesn't even look like a confrontation, much less an assault. He also posted this video, which was taken by one of the motorcyclists, in which you see the motorcyclists revving their engines and taunting the crowd. Now, the next time you see Christian walking around a protest, filming everyone, or if someone shares a Backroom Knox post, you can decide for yourself whether he is someone to be trusted or whether he is a safe person to have around.